Okay, so shall we start? I'm Hazel, by the way.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So, Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
You can you tell me about yourself and tell me a bit background about UDL?
Oh, yes. Maybe so very nice to be here today. So thanks for your invitation to introduce our company and our laboratory background. So I'm Jimmy, one of the sales and marketing executive from Universal Dental Laboratory Limited. So our company is responsible for the dental lab jobs like some dentures, some crown and bridge or some implant products. So we fabricate it and then supply to doctor. So my duties is to solve some doctor queries, handle their questions, and sometimes I need to introduce something new to them so that to update some product up to date to the market. So I think it's quite competitive in Hong Kong for our industry because in Hong Kong, as far as I know, there are over 100 companies like us.
That's a
So,
lot.
yes, so I think it's quite maybe lots of the people may think that lots of dental clinic in Hong Kong, but they seldom pay attention to the supplier like us. So I think it's quite challenging and I really enjoy it. Yes.
Right. Right. So I've read a bit about UDL. You started since 1975. And if I were to calculate including this year, that's already 46 years in the dental industry. That is pretty long, yeah. And how do you evolve from the manual to the current status to digital?
Actually, we from the very first beginning, we also meet up with some doctors and we provide some products to them and start to building trust between us. And and also when the technology keeps improving, you know, nowadays we for our handphones already totally different from the handphones we used 10 years ago.
Correct.
So for our technology in dental industry, it really keeps improving. And I think like in the past, doctor need to take the impression inside the patient's mouth and then pass the impression to us so that we know exactly the oral situation of the patient.
Right.
So nowadays they only need to use some intraoral scanner to scan around inside the patient's mouth, and then we can promptly to locate the teeth position and design the details for them. So in order to keep pace with the ever-changing technology in the dental world, we keep so at least we keep to attend some exhibition every year held in different places like Guangzhou, Germany, in Hong Kong, and we will keep up to date to different technology. So I think for now, actually for 3D laser printing, for some CAD/CAM like computer aided design and computer aided milling machine, and some scanner. So we already implement this technology to assist us to make the product more accurate and more in a high speed to deliver to doctor.
Right. How long already you changed from analog to digital? How long ago already? How long does it take now?
I think I think for the digital way, like when doctor intraoral scan the patient's mouth, and then we can receive the file promptly inside our computer at laboratory. I think this technology already around X year or 9 years ago.
Oh.
And so we really pretty a long time.
Right. So I would say that UDL is very experienced. I mean, from the analog time to the digital time now, you are also up to date. And it's not a surprise, the new technology, right?
Yes,
So,
because besides the designing program, I think for our in-house technology, we also keep improving. Like we implement the barcode system, and also we improve our computer system so that every single cases when it comes to our laboratory, we know exactly the current position or the current position or the current places the cases is situated in, maybe like in certain departments, so that we can trace where we can take the case out and maybe modify something and add some doctor's request on it. So I think the barcode system really does help us a lot.
right.
Yes, so we can ensure all case come and all the case go out from our laboratory. Yes.
Right. So if you were to compare back then, right, before the digital technology comes in, how long is the process? Is it faster now with the new technology, or is there any much difference that you notice?
Actually, after the pandemic, the only difference is every single cases when it arrives our laboratory, we undergo certain sterilizing process, like the ultraviolet light wave, and also every single case when it reach our technology's hand, all the technician need to have certain protective clothes and some gloves and some protective masks.
Yeah.
And yes. And after they fabricate the job, also all the job need to undergo some sterilizing agent machine, so it ensure no virus attached on the product when we deliver the product to the doctor.
Right.
So yeah, so I think it's maybe increase several hours of the sterilizing process after the pandemic, but I think for the other fabrication process, it remains unchanged. Yes.
Right. So you agree that technology helps with like faster delivery of the product to the doctors compared to last time?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Right. So are you aware, I'm sure that because you are in this industry quite some time, there is a HIPAA standard, right? So this regulation, how do you think, what is your advice to the people out there who is not really complying to this HIPAA standard?
So as far as I know, HIPAA is the US legislation to to provide some data privacy or to or to actually it requires some healthcare organizations to implement some secure electronic access to the health data, so we can keep track on the patient's data clearly, and also we can keep closely to get the most updated information of the patient, so that we can fabricate the most suitable product for the patient.
Mm.
So I think it's quite important to us because actually our industry is like this. When doctor send us the job in a conventional way, they need to write down some information, some instruction on a lab sheet, and it packed together with a physical model of the patients, and they send to us. So sometimes maybe the transportation process or make it the lab sheet becomes a little bit wet, and some writings cannot be seen clearly.
Oh, okay.
And of course, sometimes it's about the handwriting.
Yeah, I heard.
So it's quite inconvenient, and also for the lab sheet. Of course, we provide many brands for doctor to input the information, but normally they can just miss something important. Like they can take a note. They can ask us to fabricate a crown, but without the color. So like in this way, we need to ask them about some simple information. We need to ask the nurse, and the nurse need to feedback to doctor. Doctor tell the nurse, and nurse tell us, and then it's very troublesome can be. And I think if we make it in a electronic way, like when doctor input some information computer, or the nurse input some patient information in the system for their record, and at the same time we can get the same information or get some useful information for us to proceed the job or to start the job. I think it's very convenient, and it also far much improve the accuracy of all the products, because for every product we must have some basic information to know before we start the job. So we can eliminate some queries that doctor maybe just forget to fill in the information, and it is very time consuming sometimes.
So do you think that the
so
OMS...
electronic,
Sorry?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you think that with the software of this new technology helps a lot for the process, the daily process? Like you mentioned earlier, it eliminates the errors, it saves time, and also you get the same information rather than so many communication channels from the nurse to the doctor and then to the technician. How does that introduce you? How did UDL get to know Intrinsik?
I remember that actually we are cooperating with Hong Kong University of their dental department. So we supply some dental products to them, and one of the dentists, and she's really nice, and she also want to try something new, and then she just feedback to us that if UDL can provide the apps for them to place the order or to check the order, it would be great. And then we come up with an idea. Actually, we have already come up with this idea several years ago, but to be honest, we do not think that it's really important that we need to start the apps promptly. So the dentist feedback to us, and then she linked up us with Intrinsik, and we start the project together. And of course it is not really easy, because we need to communicate and negotiate some function and keeps improving. I think I think Intrinsik team is very nice and cooperative, because you're very understandable and you know, sometimes maybe we need to keep changing some design or some functions to add on.
Sure.
So you guys keep you put lots of effort to improve, to
Thank you.
not just meet our requirement, is
Right.
is to meet doctors' request. So I think in the long run we keep improving and let more doctors to join our apps, and we keep modify our apps to become more the most user-friendly version.
Right.
Yes.
Since you use the Intrinsic OMS already, right? How do you see the difference of your everyday process? Is it faster? Is it much better now because there's a tool to help you?
I think because for the apps, currently most of our clients is situated in KL. So I also heard of some our KL colleagues who is responsible to handle some doctors' queries. For those doctors who join the apps, it really minimizes the time we need to communicate with the nurse and through them to which doctor. We shorten this time, and besides that, we think the information is more accurate because for the system, doctor need to input step 1, step 2, step 3, and it really can guide them to input all the necessary information. Sure. So it really helps a lot in our working efficiency. Yes. Right. Yes, and we are looking forward to have more doctors to join in the apps.
Right. So you would recommend this software to the doctors and other labs as well to follow your footsteps in using the apps?
Yes, sure. Yes. Actually, I keep introducing the apps to some dentists in Hong Kong, and I think most of the most difficult part is for them to change the conventional way for placing the order. Yes, you know, the dentists in Hong Kong, they most of them they use the time to see the patients, and also actually for their behavior to jot down some information for laboratory, they only use maybe a few minutes to do it. Sure. So now I require them to use the apps, and I especially at the very first beginning, they need to start to get used to it, to fill in all the information. Some of them maybe do not have such patience to do so. I also try my best to encourage them because in the long run it does help a lot, not for us. That means not for our laboratory side, but also for your clinical side. You can check the record more clearly, and it really needs sometimes for them to start and to get used to the apps.
Sure. Yes. It's always hard in the beginning when they're not used to it and they're still using the manual, old school paper way. But as you mentioned earlier, most of the dentists agreed with you that using these apps is a lot easier. Using Intrinsik apps has cut the time, has given the accuracy of information, and also has increased the productivity for both parties, the lab and the dentist. On that note, how satisfied are you with the Intrinsik OMS?
I think for the current version, I'm quite satisfied with it because already modified several times, and I think for the basic, I think for the most important function, doctor can use the apps to place the order, to fill in all the information, to choose what the material they need, and then we can keep trace the case, whether it is already sent out to the doctor or maybe we still haven't received it. I think this function already help us a lot, and I think if we really want to keep improve to the next steps, I think we can collect some doctors' opinions, or we can think it like the template to be more simplified in certain way. And I think it is in the long run we can keep improving in this way. But for the function, I think is quite I'm quite satisfied with it.
Right. Do you think it's easy to use the Intrinsik OMS?
I think it's quite. I think it's yes. Because I also try to use the apps to place the order several times, and actually I think maybe if the doctor registers the account, so because for our current situation is doctor need to send us the information, the email or their address, the phone number, and then we help them to input in the system, and then we approve it, and then it's okay. And I think if doctor can download the apps and registers through the apps, and then like we have an admin to read the information and then just click the approve button, and so that doctor can start using the apps. I think maybe it is much convenient for them to use or to start the apps. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So on a scale 1 to 5, 5 is the highest. How would you rank the Intrinsik OMS?
I think it's 4.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Of course. Yes. 1 mark is for improving.
True. No worries.
Yeah.
So literally, on the other hand, it's like for you, the app has helped both labs and also clinicians a lot. And you also notice that there's a lot of improvement done, faster deliveries, and also the most important that you see is the accuracy of the information, right?
Yes.
Instead of like reading the doctor's writing, I totally understand. There's a lot of process. Sometimes the writing is not clear, and also the information is not being sent according to the data privacy, because sometimes they send with WhatsApp, sometimes by email, and you have a miscommunication. So the app has helped you to cut off and eliminate those risks, right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Of course, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. It does really help a lot. Yes.
Sure. So how likely would you recommend this to others? Would you be recommending this? Yeah.
Yes, of course. I keep introduce this app to some dentists, but due to the pandemic, I can only situate in Hong Kong, and and also actually I also discuss with Ivan and Kun before. I think after the pandemic, if I can travel to different cities, I think for some foreign countries, it is the incentive for them to use is I think better in Hong Kong, better than in Hong Kong, because they know that the product is not fabricated in their countries. They also want to keep trace on the product's situation, yes, so I'm feel optimistic on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think because for nowadays there is a tendency for us to to use a cell phone to control all the things.
Yeah.
To pay the bill. Yeah.
Correct.
And when you travel all around, you use the cell phone. So if the doctor can use the cell phone to place the order to keep track, so I think it's really a trend for them to use it. Yes.
Sure. That's a good thoughts and also tips from your end in order to make sure that the doctors are using this because it's convenient. Yeah, it's very accurate and it's just using the mobile phone, and also it's fast, and also that you cut off the risk that you mentioned earlier, and also that you notice that this product delivery is faster, right? So deliverables are
Yes.
faster. So do you notice any growth in your orders since you use the apps?
Sorry?
Do you notice any increase in your orders since you're using the Intrinsik apps?
Yes. It's pretty obvious. Happened in KL. Yes. Yes. Because in KL, our current users is mainly in KL, and after they use the apps, they think it's quite clear for the record, and also because like in the past we can only communicate through WhatsApp or some email, and WhatsApp can be lots of chat room, right? But through our apps, doctor can just enter the patient's file, and then for each patient, they can have their own chat room, their own dialogue. We can keep track on the record whether we send the photos to them, or doctors has something want to add on, or also black and white, very clear.
Right.
So yes, it's really welcome for the doctor to use it.
Sure. So you sound very happy with the apps. You like.
Yeah.
That's good. So do you see like a long term that this kind of digital technology, digital healthcare is on the rise and will help further for the industry?
Yes, I think so. Because from the manufacturing process, our in-house data management, and also for some keeps move to the digital way. So I think for the trend is like this. I think all the industry like this. We try to minimize the manpower to fabricate all the things, because of course some handcraft things we cannot eliminate the manpower, but maybe for some process like duplication, and some process need to repeat and repeat. So maybe we can use some computer or some machine to replace to reduce the human errors. Yes. Right. So yeah. So I think it's a trend for doctor to use the apps to place the order, to keep track on the order. The only thing is we keep communicate with doctor. We know their needs. We know what we want to get or to use through the apps. What do they want to achieve? Right. So we try to meet their needs. I think more it will be more and more doctor to use the apps.
Right. So it's a growing technology as well. It's a growing market for people to move towards digital healthcare. Yeah. And also that I noticed because like you mentioned, there's paper forms back then, so you have so many different papers, right? And now with these apps, you don't really need papers anymore. Everything is in the apps itself. So you save some room for filing. Does that works for your side as well?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, because like maybe in the past we need to have 4 to 5 people to follow the case question, and we aim to maybe have only 1 to 2 person to handle the questions from doctors. Yeah, because already very concentrate in the apps, and the 2 colleagues only need to sit in front of the computer to log in the Intrinsik website, and then we can keep monitor doctors' queries.
So
Yes,
the upside is like you save costs on manpower, cost effective.
Yes. We aim to do so, and actually I think we are working in the correct way.
Right. So literally, the Intrinsik apps is cost effective for you, time saving as well, and accuracy of information. These 3 things, I think any business would like to have this, especially during this pandemic. Everyone is cost cutting, and also there's travel restriction. So when there's travel restriction, it also delay the postage or any other things for the physical impression, like you mentioned. But now with the technology, it helps you a lot on that, faster transition and so on. So sounds good. I'm very happy to hear that you're very happy with Intrinsik apps. And thank you so much for your time this morning.
Yes, thank you, Hazelina.